Hello there, thanks a lot for coming by PosterCentral.com's video blog today. I'm Pete Howard, and boy, the Jimi Hendrix experience. Wow, one of the truly magical figures of 60s vintage concert poster collecting. And this one's from the end of the decade, 1969, and it's really nice because it's from his hometown of Seattle, Washington. We are talking the spring of '69, so as the year was getting underway, this was the year. This was one of the last 10 shows Jimi ever performed with the original experience. And of course I'm talking about Noel Redding on bass and Mitch Mitchell on drums. Just a couple of months after this, Jimi would be performing with his new band, a collective of, a larger collective of musicians called Gypsy Suns and Rainbows, retaining only Mitch on drums, and they would of course morph into the band of Gypsies at the end of '69. Although all through 1970, promoters, bookers, advertisers, everybody just referred to them straight on through as the Jimi Hendrix Experience, including when I saw him, or them, in June of 1970 in Ventura, California with Billy Cox on bass. But anyway, this is the 1960s still, and it's interesting to note that Jimi's two classic LPs were still in Billboard magazine's Hot LPs chart, remarkably, 1967's Are You Experienced and 1968's Electric Ladyland, both on the charts. The record that came out between them, Axis Bold as Love, not considered quite as magical, and so was no longer on the charts. So you've got this, really thick poster board here from the Washington Poster Company up there in the Pacific Northwest. Boy, it's really definitely thicker than most boxing-style window cards that I blog and have seen, absolutely. In fact, it makes sense, right? Because the Pacific Northwest with so much rain and inclement weather, I'm sure that's why they made the boards thicker, to really stand the elements outdoors. I have blogged a couple of other Washington Poster Company window cards like this, and they're always of the thicker material. Interestingly, it's also a little bit bigger than the standard 14 by 22 window card. This one is 15 inches by almost 23 inches. So, if you had the extra thickness and the extra inchage and everything, it's a poster with really some nice heft and really fun to hold and have. But this one comes right in the middle of a tour blank run, a little mini-series, if you will, by renowned psychedelic poster artist David Byrd. And as collectors and poster fans, it gives us a really cool opportunity to contrast the two styles and decide which we would rather have. Certainly with this little tour of Hendrix's, for example. So here you have, of course, the board from the Washington Poster Company. And here, sure, you recognize this. I have a couple of blown up images to show you. This is the psychedelic design used on this tour by David Byrd. And this particular poster is from a couple of days before Seattle, up there in Vancouver, British Columbia. And in Byrd's psychedelic design there, you have artistic renderings of the three band members. So that's 2 days before Seattle. How about 1 day after Seattle? I meant it when I said that board was right in the middle. Sort of a weak image, sorry. But this is from May 24th, the very next night after Seattle, down in San Diego, California, all the way down the coast. But, as to why this tour blank wasn't used in Seattle, well, it was Jimi's hometown, and the Washington Poster Company had quite a presence there. Or maybe it was just the elements, It's like, let's not put that paper thing up around the Seattle area. Let's go ahead with a strong board because we know it will survive. Just a, speculation. Okay, from the top of the poster there, it does say the Seattle Center Coliseum, which at the time of this taping in 2016 is now known as Key Arena, and it held about 17,000 fans for concerts in the round, like this one was. And then you have Friday, May 23rd at 8:30 p.m. and a striking portrait photograph of Jimi. Underneath the Jimi Hendrix Experience, as you can see, it says a Concerts West presentation. Speaking of dominant forces, that was a very popular concert promotion company at the time up in the Northwest led by Tom Hewlett. But what's interesting I find about that, and notice it's a slightly different color too, which makes it stand out, that's the perfect spot for an opening act to be listed. And the opening act on this show and this part of the tour was, yes, exactly, Noel Redding's group Fat Mattress. Noel Redding, of course, being Jimi's bass player, so he was on stage for the whole show, or at least those two acts. But it sort of makes you wonder, there's no mention of Fat Mattress, and there's no picture of Noel on this poster. At least there's a picture of him on the other, the bird blanks I showed you. So, it sort of makes you wonder, Jimmy's kind of, easing out the original experience. And in fact, Jimmy's half-brother, Leon Hendrix, wrote a book about, of course, his brother, and he describes being here for the show and hanging out with Jimmy and everything. And he said after the show, Jimmy just really made it clear that he was just sort of fed up with the Noel Mitch experience and so ready to move on. So, rarely will you find a concert where Jimmy is more standalone than on this particular poster. It really reflects that. Okay, then the final black stripe there, it does say tickets at Fidelity Lane and suburban outlets ranging from $5.50 to $2.75. Did I get that right? $5.50 to $2.75, you bet. And then, if you'll notice there, the lower right corner, it says vertically, the Washington Poster Company. So they have a nice solid credit there. Boy, heavy poster for a heavy artist. Jimmy, we love him to this day. He's as popular as ever. And these vintage concert posters are so much fun to find and collect. So, this is great fun. So thanks a lot for stopping by. Appreciate your time today. And we'll see you again for something soon. Alrighty, have a good day. Bye-bye.